and I come at you, you better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. I'm telling you.
What did you think about your boy Errol Spence's performance? How long do you think it would take for him to be ready to fight? Because they're calling you the future and they're calling him the future.
Yeah, they're calling.
Or you're past the future.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, you know, Errol looked good. He looked sharp. You know what I mean? He got caught a little, but he wasn't with a banger. It wasn't none too serious, and he was definitely never on the worst end of anything. You know what I'm saying? But I give him, you know, like real, you know, logic, man. I still give him at least another year with a quarter on it. You know what I'm saying? So possibly sometime in 2017 might be when it's realist. The real interesting thing is who's going to be the first person to step to him, right? Because in reality, when he called me out, man, it was almost like one of his first. Well, he was on NBC or something. Mm-hmm. It was like that's a good network, first major good network, right? That was the same thing I did when I was on HBO and I called out Floyd. What did Floyd do? Act like he never heard the shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm supposed to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. Once when he grabs a few stripes, you know what I mean, fights a few veteran fights, you know, number 9, number 8, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because I've gone up. I've gone up and up and up, you know what I mean? And you just, you know, I try to shoot at the top dog. You just can't shoot at the top dog, man. You're reaching too far above yourself, you know what I mean? You got to climb the ladder and then go for the shot, you know what I'm saying? Because look where I am on the ladder, and if Floyd wanted to stick around for 2 more years, y'all motherfuckers would be up his ass saying what you gonna do about Keith Thurman, what you gonna do about Keith Thurman, what you gonna do about Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I'm here. I wasn't there 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It took me 3 years to even when I called his. Let's be real. Okay, so when I called his name out, it took me 3 years to get into a position where we can actually talk about it like it's real. Yeah. And I'm telling you, we ain't even gonna have to wait that long for Errol because I'm not trying to avoid nobody. I just want him to get in position, earn the stripes, and then the fight's a fight.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So we are only a week away from Keith Thurman's biggest fight of his career against Manny Pacquiao. Leading up to this fight, Keith Thurman, he's been talking, of course, a lot about Manny Pacquiao, but he's also been talking, surprisingly, a lot about Errol Spence recently. Now, he hasn't been saying he wants to fight Errol Spence next, but he's been comparing his resume to Errol Spence. Keith Thurman, he's been saying that he has the best resume in the welterweight division, and he's been implying that Errol Spence is perhaps jealous of his success and obviously him landing the Manny Pacquiao fight. Now, there's no surprise, and I know Keith Thurman is smart enough to know that Manny Pacquiao, he chose to fight Keith Thurman because Manny Pacquiao believed that Keith Thurman was the weakest link out of all of the top welterweights. We know this is the case because if you listen to how Manny Pacquiao has talked and Freddie Roach, before they even signed the contract to fight Keith Thurman, you heard Freddie Roach talking about how flawed of a fighter Keith Thurman was, and they really, really want that fight. We know that Team Pacquiao, they've never said these things about Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. In fact, it was the complete contrary when Freddie Roach was talking about Terrence Crawford. I remember right after Terrence Crawford beat Victor Postal, a fighter that people said that Terrence Crawford was afraid to fight, after he dominated Victor Postal, Freddie Roach, he said, and I quote, "Terrence Crawford is like a Floyd Mayweather with power." That tells you everything you need to know about what Freddie Roach thought of Terrence Crawford. Freddie Roach also admitted that Bob Arum was pressuring Team Pacquiao to make the Terrence Crawford fight, and Freddie Roach, he said it in many interviews, he did not want that fight. And when it comes to Errol Spence, I remember when I interviewed Freddie Roach back in 2015, right before or promoting the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, I was asking Freddie Roach, once Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are pretty much done, who do you think is going to take their place in terms of being the best fighter in the world? And Freddie Roach, he said, what's that kid's name from Texas? And I said, you mean Errol Spence? He said, yeah, that guy. He talked about how he was there when he seen Errol Spence stop Adrian Broner in sparring. And he said, I can confirm it happened because I was there. He said, that guy is going to be the next Floyd Mayweather, if you will, the next pound for pound king. But Freddie Roach has never said anything like this about Keith Thurman, which proves Manny Pacquiao didn't take this fight because he thought Keith Thurman had a better resume than Errol Spence. Manny Pacquiao, once again, he took this fight because he believes he has a chance of beating Keith Thurman. You know, when Keith Thurman was talking about Errol Spence possibly being jealous of him and saying he has the best resume in the welterweight division, it would have really been a good look if Keith Thurman would have followed up with saying, this is the reason why I want to fight Errol Spence next. I want to prove that I'm the best fighter in the welterweight division, and after I beat Manny Pacquiao, I'm going straight for Errol Spence. There would have been a newfound respect for Keith Thurman if he would have did that. Because you know, when Keith Thurman, when he says, I have a better resume, but he doesn't follow that up with saying, I want to fight Errol Spence next, then a lot of fans are going to feel, what's the point of talking about your resume if you're not challenging the guy that you're comparing your resume to? And speaking of having a great resume, we all know that Manny Pacquiao has a better resume than Keith Thurman, but yet Manny Pacquiao still gave Keith Thurman an opportunity. So needless to say, it's extremely obvious the winner of Pacquiao versus Thurman should be fighting the winner of Spence versus Sean Porter. I mean, things need to be structured more like the playoffs in the sport of boxing, because that's how other sports are structured, right? You don't have a choice if you want to fight the best or not, or if you want to play against the best teams. You have to play against the best teams. It's not up for negotiations. And this is the way it should be in the sport of boxing. So hopefully Keith Thurman, he calls out Errol Spence if he beats Manny Pacquiao. This is going to be a tough fight. I truly believe this is going to be a tough fight for Keith Thurman. He thinks that, you know, Keith Thurman keeps talking about how old Manny Pacquiao is, and I don't think Thurman should be focusing so much on numbers, focusing on Manny Pacquiao's age. Keith Thurman should be preparing for the best Manny Pacquiao. We'll see how well he prepared for Pacquiao this Saturday or next Saturday. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.